The king is only great because he serves the people.
It's more people of melanin than anybody.
Is that hypermasculinity expresses itself in the dominance, control, and ownership of black women. And we have to ask.
You go to Egypt talking about, I want a cartouche. No, but it's not a book of the dead. It's a book of everlasting life. Connect Hatshepsut Aman. Women got two sides.
Yesterday was an amazing event. It was an exemplary professional demonstration of what true bending and versatilism in community is supposed to look like. Look what one person can do. Stop making excuses and stop telling me that one person can't change the world.
Charles Gordon and Raspect. And yeah, the Queen's coming, she's on the way. She's on the way.
Her name's Ali, yeah?
I think that's the lady that came earlier.
Oh, okay.
David Shozani. Let's receive him, let's receive him, let's receive him. We discuss it as a family. So we're going to be respectful, we're going to be polite. Is that all right? Yeah. And even if you don't agree with someone, that's all right too.
We build our own party, we have our own say, we're very careful about how we play it, we don't make it a black party because black people ultimately represent the minority.
The only reason it would be important to me, or positive, is if we fix the colorism issue that is in our community. To give you a quick example, when we went to Australia in February, my husband and my son, there were lots of black Americans with us, and when we got to Australia they saw the Aborigines and a lot of the locals, and they noticed that the Aborigine people who went through the lost generation were blonde with straight hair and blue eyes or green eyes, and you could not see not even a hint of melanin on them.
They use government and local government funds as well. And so what you'll find is those communities that are politically organized, they are there to get those resources.
And a lesson that I learned really early is if you go in and ask for permission, the dynamic's very different.
I feel like sometimes we get caught up in terminologies and words and separation, right? Polygamy does not necessarily work for everyone, but I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with it. I just do not think that spiritually it is for everyone, right?
Brother Polite speaks about the fact that you have to structure it as a business, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And if you set it up as a business, you know, like the sister said, if there's a level of resources being allocated in your developing community, and these people are part of your structure, your business structure.
The problem is that they don't have the freedom to do that, so we demonize them. Some of us are polygamous, some of us are not built to be monogamous. white men in America can exist and have several different wives. They're, building infrastructure. But what I'm saying is they're able to live and build.
It's not something that I would countenance, but we have to ask deeper questions, particularly as what we've seen in Western society is that hypermasculinity expresses itself in the dominance, control, and ownership of black women. And we have to ask if we're colluding with people outside of our community in dehumanizing the sisters that we're actually advocating for.
I still think that point is different. Yeah, because even if you're going to go to the Abrahamic traditions, even if you're dealing with the New Testament, at one point Abraham had many wives, but Sarah didn't have many husbands. The reality is that a lot of people are living in polygamous relationships, whether they like it or not right now. So that's another thing. So that goes down to the nature. But thirdly, what I think is that once one man impregnates 5 women, 10 women, just like the brother said, that's like a nation. And those mothers can co-parent those children and they can build a good family together, you get me?
All right.
Situations based on the fact that my melanin is lower, weaker, poor, whatever anybody would like to describe it, than anybody else. But yet I'm quite a militant activist within the community. So how does that work within itself?
For colonizing half the planet is that they weaponized colorism. This is a war tactic. This is something that your colonizers have implemented into the psyches of Africans throughout time immemorial. It's called Willie Lynch in America, and it's called other things in other places. There's an illusion that our people are under, and we suffer because of that illusion. And that illusion is there's somebody on this planet that is superior than you. I hear people throwing around the word minority. Where? How could anybody be a minority in anywhere where, you know what I'm saying, on this continent where it's more people of melanin than anybody? Don't use that word. You're not a minor.
The memoir was a gentleman, Alan Wilmot, and as I was researching his story, the main thing I learned was I downloaded off the internet. The BBC has pages of all the musical performances they've ever had since the BBC's been the BBC. So I would then tell you January the 1st, 1948, January the 2nd, January the 3rd, all that stuff, all the music that appeared. And I started to notice Cleo Lane. I started to notice Eartha Kitt. I started to notice more Cleo Lane, more Eartha Kitt, more Adelaide Hall. In other words, all the women being picked of colour had been shade graded before they could appear. Does that make sense?
And some sort of legislation to ensure that this doesn't happen, because the policing of black bodies is also a form of oppression, and it feeds into that. I don't know, I just kind of feel like we're still enslaved in some way, and we need to, this is a way that we break the chains. But internally, I don't business whether or not whatever you want to do with your hair. It's not for me to police it. Every my child, she's not allowed to shave off her hair, but that's a mother to a child. But I think we have to allow each and every single one of us to express and live authentically. It's not my business.
We're from the reggae era. This is Black History, man. Yo.
I'm going to have to just explain briefly because some people might not be familiar and they might not know what it means. So, of course, it has deep deeper meaning that, elders and teachers can sit with you for a couple of, months to explain to you why we do that. I won't do the same. I'm going to reduce it to its simplest expression. Water, of course, is the symbol of life. So we're putting life into the moment that we are going to share today. We're putting life into the cosmos, releasing life, because we all come from water, and water sustains life. Out of the body we have, we know that 90% of it is just empty space. It's just space. Yeah, 90% is space. And out of the 10% that we see, because that's what we see, 10%, 70% that is water. And then the rest is made out of all the beautiful material of the earth. We are made of gold, we are made of diamonds, we are made of copper, we are made of grass, we are made of the trees, we are made of all these beautiful things. The water is the essential element that gives life. Ancestors are not phantoms. We don't believe in phantoms in Africa.
That's right.
We be ancestors, our DNA, we contain our ancestors. We never walk alone. We are always many. Okay, so I'm going to let the high priest do the ritual prayers so we can align, and I ask you all to put your consciousness so that this event can be something successful and fruitful and feeding your mind and your heart, so you can be the light, we can shine the light everywhere we go.
After each one you will say dua. And Nazarak Kanu, Anuk Kanu. Dua. Kanu. And Nazarak Naket, Anuk Natet. Dua. And Nazarak Satet, Anuk Satet. Dua. Satet. And Nazarak Patah, Anuk Patah. Dua. Oh yeah, it's only great because he serves the king. The king is only great because he serves the people. That's right. And so you are what this is all about. You are the essence of why we struggle. You are divine beings, and we will recapture who we are once you understand that you are a divine being. So they took you out of Africa, and why do you think you're not Africans? I just want you to think unlimited. There is nothing you can't do. Think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited. When we think as one, there is nothing we can't do. You're scuffing against logic, trying to use logic when logic does not exist. Trying to survive in the money world with no money when your economics is your consciousness. And you're afraid to destroy the oppressor because you have become so much like the oppressor, you're afraid to destroy yourself. Even Stevie Wonder could see that all the sages were trying to say is think unlimited. There is nothing we can't do. Nothing we can't do. Nothing we can do. Black power.
All right. And shine your light so darkness can go, so your brother can walk and walk a straight path. Tell our men, elevate them. Hey, my brother, you are a peaceful warrior. You were put on this planet so you can promote life. You have the obligation to procreate, except to wear your crown. Wear it proudly. But wear it useful. Be somebody that contributes. And you don't have to go to the other side of the ocean to help. Right around you. Every day you have an opportunity to change the world. Every single day. Do not tell me that when you see a homeless man, you cannot go to some place to get him coffee or a donut. So don't think small. Just because small action seems meaningless. Every action is powerful. And every action will comfort you in your power. And every action will open you to the stairs that you have to climb to become who you are. Be you. Shine your brightest light every day, all day. May ancestors and all the divine energy that makes us manifest bless you all. Thank you so much.
Queen DMB! Show your love!
I ain't stupid, I ain't losing, I ain't salty. It's reparations, I'm just taking what they owe me. And they don't want to see our soul seeds. Have you sitting in a prison cause you roll trees? Got you thinking you're a villain cause you smoke weed? There's politicians that be sniffing till their nose bleed. That's how you won't get far. Hallelujah, alhamdulillah. I don't know about art and raw. All text get back and Qatar. To hoot in my art, man. I said to hoot in my art, man. I real rap star. I rap for the ancestor. Dreadlocks here, that's the You want fire, bingy? Listen. Ops don't look like me, they don't wear New Era or wear Nike. That's why it all got peak. Then done got popped in the street. Wood green in the top them keys. They make the cops them flee. Like bud where the copters be. Can't man let the shots them free. My guns run these streets. No more hide and seek. What side are you on, my G? Can't man have a peek. Okay, we say take that Maui. Kill them around them can't harm me. Right there we ain't Marcus Garvey. Let me be our Rastafari. Right there we say take that Maui. Kill them around them can't harm me. Right there we ain't Marcus Garvey. Let me be our I have a political parties. Our city must be the parties. Our cable on that's the heartbeat. That's this be part of the army. Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Big up to back to Illuminati. Before Bruce Lee, I've been to Miyagi. It's a black man that created karate. I tell this and this to I don't go church. Bodies are temple, so don't die. Spirit don't settle. Then I must be a vessel. That's why they call me a rebel. Born in hell, don't like the devil. Bring and put black people in the ghettos. But right there, so we don't say hello. Right there, we say check my body. Telling everyone that you're how we. Right there, we ain't Marcus Garvey. Let me repeat how we rest of what for. Right there, we don't say what show. Right there, we say check my body. Telling everyone that you're how we. Right there, we ain't Marcus Garvey. Let me repeat how we. Fly like a butterfly, sing like a beano. Pop man up like Muhammad Ali. Pick up the mic and fight like Tyson. Tell us how boy, you don't want no beef. Someone told me that all these times. I was like, no, someone lied. Looked in all of my people's eyes and I realized we keep the spirit alive. My ancestors still not to right. Marcus Garvey's right on my side. You rock them with Juju like a Zulu. Feed in my time, I'm flying about a black king like I'm. Rock man up like Muhammad Ali. Well, I like I fight like Tyson. Tell us how boy, you don't want no beef. I'm flying like a butterfly, king like I'm. And I'm rock man up like Muhammad Ali. If I pick up the mic and fight like army. Right there we say 10-9 Marley. Right there we say 10-9. Right there we touch one in the army.